And welcome to our description of the third paper. I'm just going to read through this assignment. So, paper 3, Persuasive Letter Based on Research. Purpose. One of the issues that we struggle with all of the time in education is, where is the practical use for this question? I say this not only as a teacher, but also as a student. Sometimes it can be difficult for us to figure out how, say, a Shakespearean sonnet or a law of thermodynamics or even a discussion of rhetoric and composition is ever going to be relevant to us. With this in mind, our third paper is going to allow us to look at how our academic work might influence our interaction with the communities in which we live. So, this assignment has a few different parts. First thing that you're going to do is you're going to pick an issue that is important to you. We've talked about this a little bit throughout the semester. Some of you have written about issues that were important to you, especially in the first paper. My suggestion would be to start with those. Those might be great issues to explore for this. And these issues can be of local, national, or international importance. I've had somebody choose U.S. environmental policy, and then I've also had people choose parking policies at UNCG. So it's pretty open in that regard. But whatever topic that you choose, I want you to be able to. I want you to choose. I want it to be something that you can write a persuasive letter advocating for some sort of change in the status quo. So you're not just going to kind of pick a problem and describe it. What you're going to be doing is pick a problem, researching it, and advocating for some sort of specific change. Okay, this gets us into the second part of this paper. Do research on the topic. You're going to see this this week. There's, in addition to this, there's also a few lectures that are not from me, they're from the library about academic research, and a few links to things about evaluating sources and things like that. I would highly suggest that you check those out. So you're going to do this research. Your research should come from scholarly sources, which is to say books, academic journals, etc., and current news publications. So these current news publications should not be more than 1 year old. And I'm going to get to something a little bit more specific in that in just a second. In the third part of this, from this research, you're going to write a 4 to 5 page paper that provides a background for the issue and outlines what you think can be done. You can separate this paper into 2 sections. You can literally have section 1 and section 2, background, advocating of some sort of action. The paper should be formal with a clear thesis and an analysis that connects your research to your points and to the conclusion. Again, we've talked about thesis statements before. These things need to be arguable, right? It can't just be something like pollution is bad. That is not a thesis statement. That is a definition. It needs to be something more specific, like the amount of straws that we're discarding is the #1 contributor to little cute seal deaths or something like that. So you need a clear thesis and analysis that is going to connect your research to the points and your conclusion. So for your paper, this is where the research, you will need a minimum of 4 sources. You can't see it, but I'm holding up 4 fingers here. So you're going to need 2 scholarly sources, right? Again, these are books, academic journals, etc. And these should not be more than 5 feet, 5 feet, excuse me, 5 years old. Um, they should not be more than 5 feet tall either. They should not be more than 5 years old. And two, from current news publications. Again, not more than 1 year old. So scholarly sources, 5 years, current news publications, 1 year. And I'll just, the reason for that time differential is that scholarly sources sometimes take a long time to publish because they go through peer review. It's harder to get articles placed in journals. And so there's kind of various reasons why there's kind of lag time in scholarly sources versus current news publications. So scholarly publications, not more than 5 years old. News publications, not more than 1 year old. These sources should be cited both within the text and on the works cited page, according to MLA standards. Now, you've got a chapter in your book about MLA citations, and I know that you do because I wrote it. But there's also going to be some links in this module about citation. Okay, so that's the fourth part. That's the paper part of this. Sorry, that's the third part. That's the paper part of this. The fourth part is find somebody who can do something about this issue, whether it's a representative or a senator or a president or someone from a non-governmental organization or a nonprofit. Or the president of the university, et cetera, et cetera. After you find this person, what you're going to do is you're going to write a 2 to 3 page letter advocating the change you're making. So in this letter, I want you to make active choices regarding the way that you present yourself and your information, so your credibility, the emotional appeals that you're making, the pathos, and your logic and order and organization, so your logos, in order to persuade the person who you're writing about your point of view. Okay, so there's a question that always comes up here, which is, can I just use text from the paper section in the letter section? And I'm going to say yes. With a caveat. It shouldn't just be cut and pasted, because what I'm really going to be looking for in this letter section is these kind of active choices. So you can be using some of that text, some of that, even cut it, even taking the exact same text, putting it in, but you're going to need to frame it in a way that sets up these active rhetorical choices. Okay, so. As a reminder, this is a combination of a research section and a letter section, so both together should be 6 to 8 pages. Now, this is designed in such a way that my hope is that neither section is too onerous, and so that you are not getting overwhelmed by the pagination. These pages should be double spaced in length. Again, so 4 to 5 double spaced pages of the research section, 2 to 3 double spaced for the letter section. All citations in the research section should be cited according to MLA guidelines. If you're citing something in the letter section, it doesn't need to be cited according to MLA guidelines, but you should cite it like according to one scientific study in the Journal of Modern Seal Medicine, 99% of all seals that have ever died have died from eating a straw, or something like that. So pages should have 1-inch margins, and text should be in 12. The text should be in 12 point Times New Roman. And please do not change the size of your punctuation, because that is an old trick. This paper is going to count for 15% of your final grade. Here are the due dates. Full draft due for peer review partner Sunday, November 11th, and feedback due to the authors Tuesday, November 13th, 11:59, and revised draft for a grade submitting on Canvas November 18th at 11:59 p.m. And this is going to be this one is going to be a kind of a quick turnaround for me in terms of grading. So I'm going to get it back to you as soon as possible, so you can be working on your portfolio. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Thank you so much.